Hey, it's Tanya from My Forking Life making creamy baked macaroni and cheese. First, you're going to go ahead and boil some water and add some olive oil and salt to that water because you don't want your noodles to stick. Then you're going to add your elbow macaroni to that boiling water. And then you are going to stir it up because, again, you don't want your noodles to stick. And leave that to a boil. Yeah. While you're doing that, you're going to shred lots of cheeses. The cool thing about this macaroni and cheese recipe, which this is why I call it the best creamy baked macaroni and cheese recipe. Yep, I said best. It's because it's going to have a lot of cheese. I don't use pre-shredded cheese. I use block cheese, and then I spend lots of time shredding all the cheeses. So there goes my sharp cheddar cheese that I just shredded. And I'm going to take that off. Pretty shreds. They don't have to be perfect, just as long as they're shredded. And you're going to need a humongous bowl for this because, again, there's lots of cheeses when it comes to this. And when it comes to the stirring of all the ingredients, you're going to want to have a huge bowl. Every time I make this and I don't have a huge bowl, I get really upset because it gets hard to stir. But you'll see what I'm talking about later. Now this is my mild cheddar cheese. It looks just like sharp, but it's mild. Of course, it tastes different. Go ahead and shred all of that. And then you're going to add that to your big bowl of cheeses. You are then going to get your next cheese. This cheese right here is my Monterey Jack cheese. Go ahead and shred that just like the others. And then last but not least, you're going to get your Munster cheese. Munster? Either way, you're going to go ahead and shred that just like your others. I don't know why I can never shred the last little bit. I mean, one, I don't want to cut my finger, so it usually just ends up looking like that. But it's cheese. It's going to melt anyways. Just make sure the majority of your cheese is shredded smallly. You don't want big chunks in there because then it won't melt correctly. Once you've shredded all your cheeses and add them to the big bowls, you're going to go ahead and take about a cup of that cheese out. You're going to save that for later. I bet you're wondering what you're going to do with it. I'm not going to tell you now. But go ahead and take a cup out and set it to the side. Then you're going to get your Velveeta. Well, not the Velveeta shells and cheese, but you'll get the Velveeta. My Velveeta got a little mushy because it was melting a little bit. My bad. But you're going to get that Velveeta cheese and you're going to cut it up small. Usually if the cheese is colder, it cuts a lot neater. I'm just going to mush around with this until I can break it up. And then you're going to add that to that pre-shredded cheese. Pre-shredded. I can't say shredded. Shredded cheese. And then you're going to go ahead and try to stir that all up. Now I just made a big old clump. Womp womp. Anyways, go ahead and stir it until it's well combined with those other shreds. Told you it was a lot of cheese in this macaroni and cheese recipe. Once you've done that, you are going to get 1 stick of butter, and then you are going to cut it into very thin slices. Don't mind that I'm using a steak knife and that I'm holding it incorrectly. It's just one of those days where I want to cut my butter with a steak knife and I guess hold it incorrectly. Once you're cutting all those little strips, make sure you save 1 strip for later. Take that strip that you took away and go ahead and grease a 3-quart casserole dish. I like to use a glass casserole dish. Yeah, and then set that to the side. Then you're going to get 2 eggs. A lot of people debate on whether you're should put eggs in your macaroni and cheese. Yes, that's my answer. Go ahead and take 2 eggs and whisk. I use a fork, but whisk those eggs. And then you're going to add your heavy cream to that because all of this is going to go into your macaroni. There is my macaroni drained from all the water. Remember, it was boiling from earlier. I'm going to add my rest of my butter to that macaroni so I can get me some buttery noodles. Once you've done that, you are then going to add that cream and egg mixture and go ahead and stir that in as well. As you can see, I'm using a different bowl for this macaroni and stir macaroni and egg and cream thing. Once you've done that, you're going to add that to that big old bowl of cheese. This is looking good already. Like, honestly, I probably could just eat this like this. No, wait, there's raw egg in there. That'd be kind of gross. But anyway, stir up those macaroni and cheeses until it's well combined. You can already tell this is going to be good just by looking at that. Then you're going to add your secret ingredient, which is Creole seasoning and, of course, a little bit of salt so it can have some flavor. Go ahead and mix that into your macaroni and cheese. Once you've done that, you grab that buttered casserole dish and you are going to pour your macaroni and cheese into that dish. Look how pretty that is. Wow, that just looks really, really, really good. Again, I mean, this looks like it could be eaten right now, but I mean that would still be kind of gross. Might as well just finish the recipe. All right, so spread out that mac and cheese. It's all gonna be like gooey. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. I'm telling you, make it and bring it to any family gathering. People are gonna love you. All right, moving on. Now we're gonna make the topping. You're gonna get some butter and melt it over the stove. Be careful. I literally got distracted by Facebook and almost burnt this butter. So, you know, watch it while it's melting. Then you're gonna add your panko breadcrumbs and stir that up. Stir it so the crumbs are coated. And then where is that cup of cheese we set aside? There it is. We're going to go ahead and add that to our panko breadcrumbs. And then we're going to combine all of that as well because this is our crunchy topping. Originally, when I had this mac and cheese, a friend that made it for me didn't make crunchy topping, which it still is good without the crunchy topping, but I like crunchy topping on my mac and cheese. That's what makes me think of baked mac and cheese. But the good thing about this mac and cheese is that it's crunchy topping and it's creamy. Go ahead and put that in your oven. It's going to be a 350-degree oven, and you're going to bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then this is what you'll have. This baked creamy macaroni and cheese. Probably the best, it is the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had. I'm pretty sure it will be the best macaroni and cheese you've ever had as well. Bold statement, but it's true. Anyways, remember to subscribe if you like this video. Like this video if you like this video. And find the full recipe at myforkandlife.com. The link can be found below. Have a wonderful day. Bye.